All
Nope,
right,
I think you got it.
I did. So, very good. We will start from here and go to there. So, here we are, Merchants Wares, auctions and sales. A lot of online auctions is what we really do these days, and we are set up to sell for you. If you need things sold, we can get them done. So we'll talk a little bit about that and go from there. If people have comments or questions, put them in the comment section there.
So you want all the questions in the chat box?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'll work pretty well. I'm just trying to figure out share screen here. All right, here we are. Ask an Auctioneer with Rebecca Kindergan, myself, Tammy Miller, also an auctioneer. Next up, here we are, Merchants Wares, and you can also scan the QR code with your phone's camera or QR code app to get notified of all of our auctions and sales. It's got super easy instructions here. Even I have managed to do this, so I have great faith that everyone can do this as well. All right. Right into some interesting options about our sales and auctions, values of items. Certainly, a lot of people don't think that there is value in certain items. They don't collect them themselves and feel like they're not really worth anything and should be thrown in the trash. What I will say is that of all of the items here pictured, you might not think so, but the stop sign is certainly a item that would be overlooked in a lot of places. I bought this stop sign for $75 and then resold it for $210. The original owners felt that it did have some value, but didn't have a full realization of the value, and that is exactly why you would want to consult a professional on the value of your items, potentially multiple professionals, depending on what your items are and what that value could be realized.
What made that so valuable, Becky?
Well, it is actually a stamped, embossed type sign that was originally yellow. Before 1971, yellow signs were, before 1971, there was no organization of the signs, stop signs, traffic signs, and how they were legalized. In 1971, they came to an overall agreement throughout the U.S. as to what those stop signs and yield signs, other signs meant, and red and white became the universal standard for a traffic ticket yielding sign. So that's why this sign was worth so much, because it was older, and it was actually originally yellow and black. And that was repainted when it became a red and white stop sign in the 1970s.
Interesting.
So that was exactly why we found that sign in Also in this picture are a number of 1980s and 90s He-Man toys, G.I. Joe toys. Those two have gotten a lot of value, uh, more, brought more value because as they've become more popular as toys to be collected, even the pieces of things such as this helicopter here, without the blades or anything else, they become collectible from a different point of view. There we go. What can you buy at an auction? Anything, everything. Unfortunately for this man's wife, really like everything. So that's part of what is our point in this this event here, is to show that you can buy anything at auction. If it's valuable, if it's got a desirable collectible nature of some form, you anything. We haven't sold any jets, any planes, but I would certainly love to. You can find a lot of value in older things such as 1990s memorabilia, um, different video games, different video game systems. And these things can also be very surprising. Once you, I believe we sold this lot here with the Home Alone for about $90, which probably perhaps is about the same as what was paid back in the day, but in between, we certainly have not found them to be so collectible. Now they're very collectible. Nintendo games, oops, there we go. Different model trains, other items. This item in the middle is an MTH, was from Mike's Train House, which is actually more valuable than most of the Lionel trains around it. These trains, new in the box, do very well. And then the Mike's Train House was actually an offshoot of the Lionel brand, because the guy who designed them was very unhappy with the quality of Lionel at the time. So he made his own brand. And though they are made in China, they are much more desirable and much more expensive than a lot of their compatriots in the Lionel family. Oh. Well, it's a good time to talk about our website. Follow our website and you can get into our bidding. We also have a QR code here where you can scan the QR code and it'll bring you to a listing of all of our sales. We will also be showing how we can get easily from our website to our bidding site, and going through that as well for our new bidders. Have some other toys that we've sold for excellent prices, eBay and or more. We take very detailed pictures on all of our lots, so you can see the details of the items. This particular truck went for about $200 plus our buyer's premium of 15%, with the box in good condition as shown. Have some other surprising items that might bring value that you weren't expecting. This Field Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Ravenloft game brought $42.50, and the Hobbit here with all of the internal pieces brought about $80 plus buyer's premium. Sell all sorts of uranium glass and other items. We have here some jibber jabbers. have a picture hiding below this. I have a video. There is a video on our YouTube channel that has jibber jabbers in action where they make their funny noises. Very highly suggested that you wander over there and check it out. Oh, wrong direction. So here we have an interesting picture, a diorama from one of our setups for an auction. And it would be interesting if you were to guess what was the most expensive item in this picture here that went up for auction. Have an old rocking horse medal. Have some decor of various sorts. The celestial piece is new, but nice nonetheless. Some animated Mickey Mouse. So the Murano glass egg here in the center of the picture is really what was the centerpiece of that auction. $325 plus buyer's premium is the price realized. The buyer came from Connecticut to come and pick it up personally, which made us very happy because we didn't have to ship it. So there are some benefits there. So we have some, yes, not quite the rocking horse in the comments, for sure.
So it was the glass egg that was the most expensive?
It was Murano glass. It was actually found in an abandoned property. So, next up, oh, no. Another place where you may find unexpected value. This little pumpkin here, a composite piece, was a 1930s Halloween decoration that is very rare. They're super sought after. Also the blow mold here. There are a lot of collectors of blow molds. This one went for $27.50 plus buyer's premium. And the other items, the Buddy L, the press steel, those did well. Our animation cells, this one in the background is Schick House Franks, a advertisement for Schick House Franks in the 1980s. We also had some other advertisements and different 1980s shows, including Charm Cans in that batch. So you never know where you find something that is of interest that can be collectible. So another interesting picture that I found in my research for this particular segment. This person definitely excels at Jenga. It is quite the packing picture, and certainly if you can pack like this, well, certainly you can work for any given auctioneer or mover or anyone else.
Hire that person now.
Right. That's a skill. So other than that, I think maybe tonight will be a short night, and I do appreciate everybody who came out. And here we are with our QR code. you'd like to scan it in off of our YouTube here, then great. We look forward to seeing you in the future.
What about your questions there, Becky? Do we have some questions to answer?
I don't know that we do.
Well, I had asked one in there.
Oh,
So I wanted to know what the most difficult thing to sell that people think has the greatest value. So what is your opinion about that? You go in there and they go, oh, I mean, we all hear about Avon bottles and precious moments, but what do you think is the one thing that people have this value in their head? And you look at it and go, every time I go into a house, no, thank you.
there are a number of things, to be honest. Blue Corningware, it is definitely of value, not too much value.
So
Uh,
is that like the white with the blue flowers?
yes, the
Okay.
blue cornflower Corningware, it is great, but not necessarily highly collectible. Uh, there are some patterns of Corningware, and there are definitely some patterns of Pyrex that are very valuable and are collectible for sure. But at the same time, there are a lot of very common patterns that are not necessarily so valuable. Uh, Dining room sets, um, people tell me, well, I paid $8,000 for this dining room set. Well, unfortunately, people are not into dining room sets so much. So at the same time, that is what may have been offered in the past, but at the same time, that's not what's realistic now. So I often will take chairs, but not necessarily tables. Tables are a much harder sell, but chairs are something that people go through a little more often.
Well, how about things on the other side of that then? What have you sold that had the most value and people were like, what are you talking about? I can't believe it's worth that much money.
Older toys, older Christmas items that don't look like very much to the untrained eye. Things that are very fragile and thus have not been very common because they over time have been broken or otherwise faded or degraded over time. So fragile items that have kind of withstood the test of time through proper storage or other ways are really the items that tend to be a surprise to people.
I remember hearing a story once about somebody who had a very valuable chair and they were so excited the night before the auction and they painted it so it looked really nice. And of course, that took all the value away from it. Have you ever gone into a place and there was something that you just look at it and go, oh my gosh, if it didn't have that crack, it would be worth, $10,000. Or if you would have done that with it, it would have been worth, 15,000. Can you think of anything like that in your experience that you have encountered?
Definitely, there's been some items that if it weren't broken or chipped or cracked or otherwise damaged, it would have been worth a lot of money. Uh, that unfortunately is part of the reason why those items are worth a lot of money is because often items get chipped or cracked or otherwise not really taken care of when people don't realize they're worth something. And that does inherently lead to the value of things that are taken care of. So yes, definitely.
Mhm. And Brian had the same thought as I was asking the question. His question is, what are some things you find in residences that people are surprised to find out have value? So he and I were thinking the same thing at the same time. So there's another one of your good questions, good response for us there. Thank you.
Um, there's a lot of newer things that people don't realize might be worth value. Um, people say, well, my kids left their toys here. Well, some of the toys from the 90s are worth a lot more than people would think because they were started and introduced in the 90s. So that is the beginning of Pokemon and Magic the Gathering, other card games, other toy lines, and things like that, Power Rangers. Um, so when you find these items, that is the beginning of those items, and they don't, they became more valuable over time. Otherwise, Legos, there's quite a little list of items that people will say, this is just garbage, but it's not. And that's why it's very good to, I advise people to retain someone who will understand the value in today's market of some of these items.
What has been one of your most favorite things to sell?
I have an employee who has asked me that too, and anything that makes us all money, that's my favorite thing to sell. The more money we make, the happier I am to sell it. It doesn't matter if it's gold jewelry or vintage video games or uh, purses, and anything you find that is worth value that I can sell. That's what I love to sell.
So of course you see so many things, and I'm sure you could probably go one way or the other. One way would be to say, I don't want any stuff because I deal with stuff all day long, or really enjoy the stuff. Do you personally collect anything in particular?
Nothing in particular, but things I like. Absolutely. So when I find that piece that makes me happy, then yes, I do collect, as Brian will attest to. But at the same time, I do kind of try to keep it light. The more things you have, the harder it is to move. So it is what it is. I do enjoy finding a good deal and something that I really enjoy. That is potentially a one of a kind piece of art.
Well, obviously, we want to know about the auctioneer, right? We want to know about you. Give me one thing that you like to collect.
Rocks, definitely
Rocks.
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 Yes, not a fantastic collection, but certainly extensive. So rocks are my thing for sure.
Now you're going to do some more of these Ask an Auctioneer, right? I mean, we're going to have other programs where we have the opportunity to ask you some questions as we kind of gear up on this. You're going to do this again?
I believe so. And we'll also hopefully be doing a rock and gemstone oriented open house in March in the Ringwood Auction Gallery. So hopefully we'll have a little more of that, and maybe we'll also uh, put that live as well.
That would be fun. Even
Yeah,
if, yeah, that'd be great. So people can see it. And even if I can't be there, I can see it. You're the second person that I know that collects rocks. I have another good friend who loves rocks. I don't know what it is about rock collectors.
there's a lot of rock collectors these days. It's very popular, so can't complain.
I like the kind that shine.
Right? The shiny rocks are the best rocks.
That's exactly right. And usually has like gold or silver setting around it. That's the kind of rocks I like to collect.
Very good. Well, appreciate everybody coming out, and I think we're gonna wind it down here. So that sounds good to everyone.
Yeah. Ah.
Of some gremlin socks. All right, everybody. See you later.
Okay, why don't you stop the recording for a second, Becky?
Okay.